Okay. So Jackie Cote is our speaker today. She is going to be talking about becoming a money magnet, 10 ways to attract money with ease and grace and no longer struggle and hustle. Jackie, I am going to let you decide if you want to answer your own question. But before I do that, I want to give a little bit of background on Jackie. So she is a visionary life coach and owner of Jackie Cote Coaching, LLC. Originally a Jersey girl, but Virginia has been her home since 1997. So we will allow you to call yourself a Virginian. And she is now enjoying living by the lake in Lake Anna, Virginia, beautiful area. She's very passionate about helping people who feel stuck, overwhelmed, and know that they're meant for more. So she's here to give us some of her insight on that. She also likes to help these successful people create a clear vision and get out of their head and into powerful action so they can have more of the freedoms they desire and deserve. And then a little bit more about her is that she enjoys her freedoms with her two fur baby pups, Roxy and Ryder, and her partner. Let's not forget about him, Mike. And they have just splurged and are new adventurers with their RV that they have just purchased. So Jackie, I will let you go ahead and decide if you would like to answer your question or not, and then go ahead and teach us all you know.
Awesome. Thank you, and I'm so excited to be here. And thank you, Melody, for the opportunity. And so to answer the question, it's funny because I love listening to what everybody said, and the RV is actually a really good point. Of one of my old stories and struggles was that, well, two of them was that everything had to be a struggle and a hard work to make money, and the other one was I wasn't ever spending joyfully. Like I just couldn't. You had to hold on to it really tight and hoard it. And I heard that through a couple of you guys. And the RV was the first purchase that I had on my vision board. You know, we all make our vision boards and like we plan. And that was the first one where I looked out in the driveway and I didn't have buyer's remorse the next day. And we needed a truck to go with the RV because we like planned on the RV and we're like, oh, we need a truck too, don't we? And while we were getting the RV, someone traded in their truck and it was an amazing deal, like the same time. And then a client messaged me saying that they wanted to start and her payment was the payment of the truck, like almost within $10 of each other, which she would be paying monthly. So the point of this topic today of like, and a lot of you said some wonderful things about living in a mindset that is just an abundance mindset, and that trusting and believing that the wealth is there, it's around you, not just money. And we're not going to do the abundance versus, I have another talk doing abundance versus scarcity, but we'll touch on a little bit of that. But one of the four things that a lot of you said was about the spending and how a lot of us are really great makers. There's four kinds. There's makers, there's spenders, there's savers, and there's avoiders. And those are the four quadrants of kind of the style people we are. We have a combo of them most of the time. So most of my life, I was that maker and saver, and maker and saver. And I looked at my money all the time. So it definitely wasn't an avoider. And I want you to think like, which one are you? And feel free to drop it in the chat, like, or which combo are you? But spender, I was always scared because it's very much like Lynn was saying about how tight family, 6 kids, grew up, mom passed away when I was 5, so dad's raising 6 of us. And it was like, you ate at home. Like you ate with like, and I was cooking from 7 on, just trying to like, so there wasn't money spent on anything. And it was like, are we going to have enough? Are we going to make it? And paid for everything since I was 15. So I understand that, like, hold on tight. But like, I think it was Dan that said, like, you know, if you fear it, a bunch of you said, if you fear it, then you won't get it. Like, so you have to have that focus, what you focus on grows mentality. So on that note, Carly, your maker and saver tightman, yeah. So that tightness on money, if we can't joyfully spend, and I'm not saying spend to the point where like you lose your house and your car, I'm not going to that extreme, but if you can't joyfully buy a coffee pot and enjoy it, then money's like, you're no fun. I'm not coming to you. I'm going to go to people who are fun. So joyfully spending, saving, making, that combo of those three. The avoiders, if you're an avoider and a spender combo, that's a scary combo because you're avoiding not looking at your money whatsoever and spending a lot of it. So we try to avoid the avoider aspect, and that can be rewired. But spending, making, and saving in a joyful manner, all of the above, we're going to talk about a little bit today. So awesome. I'm a reformed spender. Awesome. I love it. All right, I'm going to share my screen and host disabled screen sharing. So I will need that. It says I have a share option, but it's not letting me share. So if someone could give me that option, that'd be awesome.
Yes, hold on. I'm working on that right now. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I thought I did. I should have tested it before, but I thought I did because normally I don't
That's
have
okay.
the share screen button.
All right.
Fabulous.
Okay. You should have it now.
Oh, I'm the host now. I'm in charge. Martin's in charge. Awesome. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen? That it's loading. And I drove up to Northern Virginia to ensure I had solid internet for this meeting. All right,
so
can you guys see the screen?
It says you've started to share it. Oh, there we go. We got it.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So being a money magnet. So as I said, I'm Coach Jackie Cote and a visionary mindset life coach. That's my website. And the struggle, I believe, is just not real now. One of my main stories that I had to overcome with money was that it was a struggle, and it always had to be a uphill battle. It always had to be something where I worked like 80, 90 hours, 70, whatever hours. I have 30 years of the restaurant, 30 years of the restaurant business. And it was, if you've ever worked in the restaurant business, you know, sorry, my screen just kind of popped out. You know that it's something that's a very hard, lots of hours kind of industry. And that's what I knew. And I was very successful as in leadership management doing that. I developed over 300 managers into new positions. And something that I was really passionate about was the fact that I could see the vision of what it is and hold that gift of belief for people that they could do more than they could ever do, and hold it there for them until they got there, and then continue to raise that bar for them as we went along. So that's why I'm passionately now in my own business doing that same thing. So everybody wants to become a money magnet. So why aren't we all? These are some of the thoughts that people have. Never enough money. Money doesn't grow on trees. I know we've all heard that growing up. Money is bad. I don't deserve it. It's hard and a struggle to make. It's hard to keep. So I'd like to ask, like, what are old stories that you might have? What are you telling yourself? Or what are the thoughts that you're having? What is your family story? I heard a couple of those as we went through, as well as mine, of dad had a construction company our whole life growing up. And that construction business was up and down, up and down. The positive of that is I got to see someone having his own business. So I always knew I wanted my own business. But the part that I bring with that was that it was a struggle, and we lost everything one year and we had to rebuild it. So good and constructive opportunities there that I learned from that experience. So number one, be aware of your negative beliefs about money. Be aware of the money stories and beliefs. Be curious without judgment. So that's an important statement of when we find when we start to discover and become aware, because awareness is the first key to change. The first thing you want to do is be curious about your awareness of what it is that your story is, and don't judge it. We do a lot of like beating ourselves up for things. Recognize the pattern through awareness, and our body doesn't lie when it comes to our fears and our stories. So you're going to have a bodily reaction that's going to cause the thoughts and the actions. And a lot of times when there's high anxiety and high stress about money, there's usually going to be a bodily function you're going to feel first, and then you're going to have the thoughts and the actions, which are going to cause the anxiety. So on that note, when you recognize that and you're aware of that, then you can actually rewire it at that point before the thoughts and actions hit, and go, what can I think differently? Be aware of what your body does when money comes up. What are the thoughts and actions that come after that bodily reaction? Ask yourself, is this true? So when you have a fear of like, I don't know, we shouldn't get this, we shouldn't do that, we shouldn't do that, like really that tight holding on to money, and say, it could be all gone. Well, is that really true? Because in reality, what I discovered is money always supported me my entire life. Even though I was so scared it was going to go away all the time, I always had it. and it always took care of me. And there was always a way. And a couple of you mentioned that. Like, I just know there's always a way, so I'm not worried. What can I think or believe different when we have thoughts that are holding us back? And then moving from that lack, the focus on losing money in your account, you will get exactly what you focus on. And if you focus on the growth of your investments, or the growth of your money, or the growth of the abundance in your life, that's what you will get. So what you focus on grows, and what you appreciate. Number 2, building your money mindset. Law of attraction is dependent on your thoughts and beliefs, which creates the mindset. So positive and powerful money affirmations rewires the brain with a new story. Our brain can't function on if it doesn't have a story to work off of, it doesn't know how to function or believe or take actions towards it. So that's why there's what I love, it's a lot more common now to be able to create the vision and talk about the vision and live in that vision if it's already happened. People like Kyle Cease and all different leaders out there talk about you have to live in what it is you want now, because the brain needs to know it. It has to, Joe Dispenza talks about that wiring of the brain so that it understands that, okay, I can do this because I believe I'm going to be a millionaire, or I believe I'm going to be $100,000 earner, or whatever it is. So have some affirmations, and affirmations are cool, but if you strongly do not believe them, then they're useless at the same time. So there's a consistency to it. To bring, I'm a money magnet. Money I spend comes back to me 3 times. I had to say that a lot when it came to the RV and the truck, and then it did come back to me. And everything, the normal scarcity fear of money I used to have was no longer there. Money loves and supports me. These are some affirmations you can use. Use affirmations when you wake up, in car rides, meditations, phone apps, but really tap into the trust and belief behind the affirmation. It takes some time, just like a muscle in a gym, just like anything that a habit you want to create or establish. It takes time. Sometimes we'll start it and a week later, why am I not rich, or why am I not believing that? Well, it takes time. You got to build that muscle. So what books are you reading? What are you listening to? I know I'm preaching to the choir because this is probably one of the most self-developing groups out there. So, and I love getting suggestions from groups, and I love those little posts that people make about what's your book you're reading? I mean, it fires me up to figure out what's next to listen to or read. And meditation, there's a ton of them you can do about abundance, to sleep to. So if you have trouble sleeping, throw on some really good, if you need advice, some of them I can refer them to you. Some great meditations about how abundance, and you sleep to it, it gets into that subconscious. And there's other things like EFT tapping. So change your thoughts, change your life. The third one, you deserve to become a money magnet. The moment you settle for less than you deserve, you get even less than you settled for. People feel like they don't deserve money because of their current state of being with money. Your current reality does not determine where you're going. So we want to know how and when before we do anything, so we do nothing. Like the how and the when you don't have control over. So when we have faith that the universe has our back, God, whatever your higher power is, when we have faith that it has our back in this, I always felt like I was doing this alone, because I very much took care of myself since I was 15. So I was like, no, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it, girl. And I can't see your faces, but I would love to know how many of you felt like that growing up. Like, no, I got it. No, I got it. I don't need help. No, I don't need anybody. And that was me. And finally, this past year, when I clicked over into faith and belief, is when my business exploded. And that was hard. It was hard for me to make that change. And that's where the abundance changed in that capacity, when I turned and clicked into faith and belief that I'm not alone in this journey. And when you feel deserving of the money, it will come, not the other way around. So you've got to believe before you can receive. That was, like Mary Louise talked about, changing from a job into her own business. That's the mindset shift right there. You have to believe before you can achieve and receive. Sorry, 2, 3, 4. All right, love your bills and be a money magnet. Yes, I said love your bills. I thought this one was crazy when I heard it. So be happy and grateful for paying your bills. You know, you're gonna have to pay them. So pay them in a joyful way. You know, a bill to pay your electricity, your mortgage, like being grateful that you have this home, you have the utilities that you have. Being grateful that you're paid the credit card you're paying. Be grateful that you had access to that credit card to take care of what it is that you needed to use it for. But when we look at sad and like, oh, I'm so in debt and I'm so in that, that's gonna grow. So joyfully paying your bills. I'm happy that I'm able to pay my bills. When I pay my bills, money comes back to me threefold. And track the money. And I'm not one of those, like, I'm not super organized. Sorry, Sandra, but I don't like literally write down all my stuff. I need to work with you probably, Sandra, and be more organized. But I don't write everything down, but I write down like what is going out, what's coming in, and celebrating it. So that joy of celebration of it going out and in, it helps the money come back to you. 5, celebrate others' good fortune. I have, this is preaching to the choir because I know this group, and based on the page and based on all the groups, there's so much celebration of others. It's amazing. And that's why I love what I've gotten into here in coaching, because it's brought these people like you guys around me into my life. And saying yes to others' good fortune will attract your own by doing what you love. So if you're in your gift and you're doing what you love, that is one attraction of the good fortune. And the other thing is celebrating others' abundance and joy instead of going, oh, I wish I had that, and oh, they've got it and I don't, and they're doing so well and I'm not, and they've got all their junk together and I don't. Nope. When you see someone else's good fortune, that means you can have that too. You deserve the same. That's the possibilities. When someone else is doing something that you want, you look at it and you go, amen, good for you, and I want that, and I know that's a possibility now because you did it. So that's a way of getting out of that victim old story mentality into abundance, love, and joy. So you do get to live luxuriously, whatever that definition of luxuriously is for you. I commonly would say to myself, I don't need it, I'm okay. I don't need it, I'm okay. I don't need it, I'm okay. Like I minimal means I don't need much. I can try, and it's true, I don't. I've lived on very little and I've lived on a lot. So I don't need it, but if I desire it, then it's meant for me, because the desires come from up above and you deserve your desires. So 6, visualize your abundance. Get really clear about what you want and visualize it. Be clear about, like don't hold back. When I tell people to write down like what is it you want, we do the vision building about, like, don't let that logical brain stop you. Tap into that heart and that gut. That logical is going to stop you from going, yeah, but, and don't do that. Don't let that logical take over and keep you stuck. So visualization raises that energy vibe to match the energy of the desire, because you might have these desires here, and if you're not working on the belief and trust behind it, you're always going to be like, why am I not enrolling clients? Why am I not doing this? Because your belief is here and your energy is here. And I know you can't see me, but my hand is up, high energy, but low belief. And they just pass each other. So take the time daily to sit in your vision of what you want and raise that vibe. So if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Number 7, recognize prosperity is everywhere you go. Recognizing prosperity is recognizing that the grand creation of the universe. So poverty is related to sadness, and sadness creates a low vibe and prevents attraction. So if you focus on what we talked about earlier slide, focus on the poverty, focus on the lack, focus on the loss of things, that's what you'll get. So when you look at just every day outside, when you look at a city, like, do you look at the buildings and say, God, those are so beautiful, and look at the architecture on them? Do you look at the colors of the leaves and the trees and the flowers? Are you looking at the prosperity of what's growing around us? So recognizing that, the more you recognize prosperity, the more prosperity will be attracted to you in your life. Give more to receive more. Giving is always a magical way of receiving. You might be thinking, I don't have enough money for me, so how can I give? But it's not always about money. It's time, support, etc. When you give more in your job, if you have a job, when you give more in your job, you'll receive more. When you give positive, happy, and with a purpose of service, well, I always say, as long as you're showing up from a place of service, authentically yourself, you're never going to sell a day in your life. So anyone who is anyone's concerned about that selling aspect, that's a good philosophy to go by. And when you're giving in a joyful experience, you will receive more abundance. Number 9, be in a receiving mode. Oops, sorry, back. Oh my gosh, slow down. Being in a receiving mode. This was probably one of the biggest things I had to shift. Be open to receiving from the universe. A lot of times we're all about giving. Like we argue in the giving, like I want to help this person, I want to help that person, I want to do this. And we took all our attention and we put it on everybody else but ourselves, right? So we're the last. And that when a lot of people talk about self-care, I talk about self-care is not selfish, it's selfless, and making sure you take care of yourself so that you can serve others. But if you don't serve, if you don't, whatchamacallit, if you're not willing to receive from others as well, then you're basically blocking money from coming from you. So welcome others from giving and receive it joyfully, whether it's like a gift, whether it's a compliment, like say thank you and appreciate it. And it's a magical gift and a surprise, surprise is a sign from the universe, more incoming. Celebrate it. I don't think we celebrate enough. Celebrate. And that's why we talk about that spending joyfully piece, because people are like, no, I don't want to be like gluttonous, or I don't want to be like over, I don't want to spend anything because like what if, or I don't want to look like I'm bragging about. No, celebrate the joy of what you've given to the world and what you've done for the world. I mean, celebrate that. When you receive less than expected, be happy, joyful, and celebrate no matter what. So we all set maybe a money goal for your business. When you don't hit it, celebrate what you did do. Celebrate the connections you made in the process. Celebrate the growth you've had in the process. Even though the dollar, because you cannot control the outcome. You cannot control the how or the when. So enjoy the journey. And more will come in this vibe of energy of receiving. So always be in a receiving mode so you can have more. Funny story about receiving is when I was a starting out coach and trying to like enroll, new people into my business and this and that, I was like not enrolling. I was doing all the things. And have you ever been in that point of like, I'm doing all the things, why is nothing happening? And I have a coach myself, and I've had her since I started my business. And I basically was saying, here's everything I'm giving, and I would block them from enrolling with me, because if I received money from them, this is crazy. This is a crazy money story now that I think about it, but it's very true. If I receive money from you to enroll with me as a client, that means you're helping me and I don't need no help because I got it. So that was blocking the energy of anybody enrolling with me, because I refused to receive and be grateful for the fact that someone wanted to enroll with me, so that then if they enroll with me, they're helping me build my business so that I can serve other people. So start to be grateful for any money. I know it's crazy when I say it out loud, but it's so true. And we stop ourselves from receiving money because we're like, no, I don't want to burden anybody. I don't want to, if I receive, that means I'm being helped and I got this and I don't need no help. That was before I changed my mindset on the universe having my back. So start to be grateful for any money you have and you will become a money magnet. So I challenge you to write this down and say it every day for the next 7 days. I'm becoming a money magnet. I deserve all the abundance of the universe, and I am receiving more and more. And by the way, if anybody wants these slides, like drop in the chat that you want this presentation or this information. The next slide is going to wrap it up in the top 10 tips of money magnet. My name is Jackie. So I hope that you got some nuggets from that. My information's in the chat. Everything here I dropped in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. And I was not looking at the chat, so hopefully I can go back and look at the questions if there's anything.